What's good, y'all? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to another F1 video for you guys, man. The signs Daniel Ricciardo McLaren's F1 contract could possibly soon be cut short. I don't think anybody wants to see this. I don't think I want to see this. I do like Daniel, but at the same time, he hasn't really been that good this year. He hasn't really been productive. I think McLaren has some pretty high standards for the drivers. We've seen Lando have some, decent, better races. But I think a lot of people expected McLaren to be better. I expect them to be better. I expect them to possibly be involved with the, Red Bulls, the Ferraris, the McLarens. I'm sorry. The Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferraris. But not really. You could possibly even say Bottas, he's been better than both drivers, you could say. But maybe I'm just talking on my ass, which I do best. But we should see. Hopefully not. Also, Mick Schumacher, I've also seen something talking about he's kind of on his last chance. But I also want to add in Guan Yu Zhou, racer for Alfa Romeo alongside Valtteri Bottas. I haven't really been too impressed. I do know it is his first year in F1, and everybody knows F1's hard as shit. But I kind of expected a tad bit better than what he's shown. But like I said, we're like 5-6 races in. We still got a lot of time to change, but we should see. Let's go ahead and get into the video. Don't get to start the video. So if you are new to the channel, now let's officially get started.
McLaren in 2021 seemed a match made in heaven between a proven race winner hungry for a shot at the World Championship and a legendary team working its way back to being a contender. The reality has fallen dramatically short of that. Ricciardo struggled last year, but hopes things will be different in 2022 have so far proved wide of the mark.
Yeah.
And now we are starting to see hints that his time with the team might not extend beyond the end of this season. Teammate Lando Norris is contracted until the end of 2025 and established as McLaren's spearhead.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ricciardo has been searching for an elusive breakthrough that has yet to materialize.
That's what I forgot. I mentioned that like months ago about Lando's new contract. So just adding what he said, they already know Lando's the main guy. That's why I was hoping Daniel can possibly challenge that or just compete better. But unfortunately, it just hasn't really been it. But listen, you guys, I tell you guys this all the time. If I say anything stupid out my ass, please correct me. Please correct me. So I want hints from Ricciardo and Zach Brown.
Last season, Ricciardo revealed his McLaren deal would keep him at the team until at least the end of 2023. But over the past 15 months, Ricciardo has struggled to build up any momentum. He has had his moments, famously winning last year's Italian Grand Prix to end McLaren's long victory drought, but generally he has lagged behind.
But look at Lando compared to
After
him, though.
to 12th place in the Spanish Grand Prix, Ricciardo offered what appeared to be a hint that his McLaren future might not be as clear-cut as he once thought. Asked the question, have you and the team started talking about next
This summer started if you look outside.
Ricciardo responded that he expected talks before the summer break. Ricciardo's answer piqued the race's interest. So we then asked him why such talks were necessary, given what he said last year about a
Hey, shout out Ed. Shout out Ed.
elicited an interesting response, with Ricciardo unusually evasive, then declining to say much. His response was that we made him answer something he did not need to, making the unconvincing suggestion he was talking about summer 2023. He then understandably said he was going to leave the topic alone and avoid any further comments. Ricciardo was perhaps wise not to elaborate further. While this might only have been a driver who had just spent over an hour and a half struggling in sweltering conditions during a Grand Prix, misspeaking, it does appear to suggest that McLaren and Ricciardo will indeed have talks about their future soon. What's more, McLaren CEO Zach Brown told Sky Sports F1 the day after the race that Ricciardo was falling short of expectations.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Although he stressed both driver and team would continue to work hard to try and get things to click, that's another indication that this can't go on. None of this is anything like conclusive proof Ricciardo could be heading for the exit, but it's only logical for McLaren to consider whether it might be time to cut its losses for 2023. There's still time for things to turn around for Ricciardo, and it's possible that a return to his electric best is round the corner.
That's what I was saying. I'm hoping he can he still has time to like develop and stuff like that. That's why I was hoping maybe. I'm sorry, I'm watching something on TV right quick. Let me actually turn it off. But I was actually hoping he could possibly. I just fuck it. My bad. I was hoping he does have time to like get ready stuff like that. My bad,
The
guys.
clock is ticking, and time appears
I
to
may
be
have
running
to
out.
edit that out
Let us know in
possibly.
the comments if you think McLaren should stick with Ricciardo, or if it's time for a change.
I think so. Just not. Don't cut him down though. But
The hope was that Ricciardo's difficulties in adapting to the McLaren in 2021 would be put behind him this year. He spent last year deconstructing his driving and enhancing his technical understanding, working closely with race engineer Tom Stallard. That offered the tantalising prospect of Ricciardo not only being back to his brilliant best, but potentially being better than ever before. With major rule changes transforming the cars, the stage appeared set for Ricciardo once again to show the form that earned him 8 Grand Prix wins and made him
Ew.
arguably the best driver in F1 in both 2014 and 2016. But the first 6 races of 2022 have looked the same as much of 2021. Ricciardo is 39-11 down in terms of points
I
scored
think-
compared to Norris, and has only been ahead of his teammate once in the 4 races both of them.
it sucks, man. It sucks because I think this past race, I think he was damn near towards the end. I'm not saying he was last, but I think he was like around the back of the pack. I think Leonard had a top 10 finish as well. It sucks for Daniel, man. It honestly
And
sucks.
that, in Bahrain, was the consequence of Norris's failed strategic gamble on a weekend when McLaren was miles off the pace. In qualifying, Norris has been ahead 5 times out of 6, and on the one occasion when Ricciardo beat him, in Spain, this was thanks to Norris having his final Q2 lap
Jesus,
time
Lando's just
for a
faster than
technical
him.
violation. Before he lost that lap for a breach that wouldn't have conferred much, if any, lap time advantage, Norris had been 0.310 seconds faster. Given Norris was suffering from a visibly debilitating bout of tonsillitis, it was another disappointing
he was sick as
qualifying performance
crap.
for Ricciardo, and things got worse in the race. He finished 12th, with his race pace nowhere near Norris. They ran similar strategies, with 3 stints on softs and 1 on mediums, albeit with Ricciardo using his mediums in the second stint and Norris the third. But the average lap time difference, eliminating outliers, was over 0.8 of a second. Ricciardo simply eliminating outliers in the second stint and Norris the third. But the average lap time difference, eliminating outliers, was over 0.8 of a second. Ricciardo simply could not extract any pace from the car. That's out of proportion with the pace deficit that Friday and Saturday appear to indicate existed between the pair. Ricciardo was baffled by the fact he was operating at a lower level of grip than everyone, and hoped a problem would be uncovered to explain it. McLaren is still investigating, and given how big a struggle Ricciardo had in the race, it would be a surprise if some problem wasn't found. While Ricciardo said there were little bits here and there in terms of differences between his and Norris's setup, it was not anything that could explain such a big gap. But if McLaren finds a reason for Ricciardo's struggles, that won't change the overall performance pattern. He has not produced the speed expected by McLaren,
Yep.
the watching world, or even Ricciardo's own illustrious history in F1. His problems of last year were well documented, with the style he'd honed in previous years in F1 not working well with a car that didn't offer him the desired characteristics on turn-in. He worked hard to reprogram his style with some success, but never to the point where he recaptured his old form. While the fundamental change of the cars offered the tantalising prospect of a reset, the inherent characteristics don't necessarily favour Ricciardo. With front-end load tricky to produce for slower corners, the change is perhaps not well timed. Ricciardo admits, "I want to execute more perfect laps, and there's still not..."
You guys know me when it comes to the mechanics and all that. I don't really know it. That's why I ain't say shit. I'm listening, but
It's always impossible to know what might be going on in someone else's head. Perhaps he's asking himself if he has the ability or the determination to do so.
interesting other drivers. Yeah.
Should Ricciardo leave,
What's his name?
McLaren has
Oscar,
several
right?
obvious options
What's
for
his name?
seating
Oscar,
alongside
right?
Lando Norris, who is
Os-
contracted to the team until the end of 2025. First and foremost among those is IndyCar star Colton Herta.
Who the hell is that?
The 22-year-old has a testing contract with McLaren and is due to get mileage in a 2021 specification McLaren Mercedes MCL 35M this year. That's as part of his driver development deal with the team, which was announced in March. He's also a contender for possible free practice outings later in the season, although McLaren has yet to confirm its plans for the 2 FP1 sessions it must run a rookie driver in. Herta is seen by McLaren as a serious option. He combines genuine ability, as his brilliant save on slicks in damp conditions on his way to a stunning victory in the IndyCar road course race at Indianapolis earlier this month showcased, with big potential and the backing of a burgeoning American F1 fanbase. He's also already flirted with F1, performing well in the Alfa Romeo simulator.
Wait, he's American?
FP1 run in the United States Grand Prix last year, before Michael Andretti's bid to take over the team for 2022 collapsed.
Hold on, so hey, bro's American. That's hard. I'm definitely gonna be rooting for him if he gets a chance. No cap. Definitely will be rooting for him. Ooh, that shit will. That thing look beautiful.
Although a place with an established team like McLaren would surely appeal.
That thing look tough.
But he's not the only option. Arrow McLaren SP IndyCar driver and former Red Bull junior Pato O'Ward drove for McLaren in the Abu Dhabi Young Driver Test in December and has also been linked to an F1 shot. He's close to agreeing a new IndyCar deal to stay with McLaren, but the possibility of a switch cannot be ruled out. There are also alternatives elsewhere in F1.
Gasly.
Driver Pierre Gasly has been linked to McLaren should he not be given a return to Red Bull racing next season.
But you guys think about that. Pierre Gasly and Lando Norris with McLaren. I don't know. Gasly's kind of I don't know. I like Gas. I do like Pierre, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't know.
He's been a strong performer with Red Bull's B team in recent years, winning the 2020 Italian Grand Prix, although his difficult half-season spell alongside Max Verstappen at Red Bull might count against him.
He did drive a Red Bull, though. Yeah, he did.
He's also taken an interest in reigning Formula 2 champion Oscar Piastri.
That was it.
Although under contract to Alpine, he has ties
See?
to McLaren as one of the...
Your boy knows it. Your boy knows it.
Other drivers could be on McLaren's radar depending on what happens elsewhere in F1.
Mercedes Formula E driver.
But there are alternatives to Ricciardo should team and driver decide they should part company. It's still possible Ricciardo could stay with McLaren in 2023, and he would continue to do a perfectly respectable job as Norris's number 2. But McLaren signed him and pay him to be far more than that.
Alright. Which I'm hoping they actually do keep him. Like I said, if they do end up cutting him, you can't really be surprised by it. He just doesn't really step up the expectations, which obviously some of McLaren has some pretty high expectations for the drivers. But very, very interesting. It will be actually nice to see what does happen with that. We'll be keeping a close eye watch for that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to start the video and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this situation. And I will see you guys later.